All right, guys, Bitcoin's above $70,000. It's held over the weekend, but what do we have to come this week? What are my trades looking like? And what do we need to be concerned of now? What you just went through was the 8th worst Bitcoin crash of all time. Crypto is dead. This is what we've heard so many times, and yet right now is only the 8th worst crash, right? If you've been in crypto since 2011, you would have had 8 other crashes. And even 2017, like I have, 5 to 6 other crashes of this size or significantly more. All right. So what we're seeing right now is completely normal for Bitcoin. It's a completely normal move, right? So far, we came down to retest just below the previous all-time high, exactly in this circle that I drew on the charts a few weeks ago. However, we did it much quicker than what I was expecting. So, of course, I can't tell the future, but I was very much expecting it to come into this box. What did I do? I took advantage of the move to the downside by opening a new position and also going long, which, of course, I alerted the crypto strategy school that I DCA'd at 65 and at 60 into my spot Bitcoin position. But right now we're in a bit of a precarious position for Bitcoin, in my opinion. We've popped our head above the old all-time high, and I think it's very important that we try and stay above it. If we don't stay above it, we could have a repeat of what happened here, about 62 days below it. But right now, the market is trying to digest the move and trying to figure out, are we actually in fact here? Or are we here? Or really, are we about there? Now, it's very hard to tell. So we have 3 options, 1, 2, and 3. These are our options. So what we do is we plan for each of the eventualities. If we pop from here, do we have exposure to the upside? If we dump from here another 50%, do we have capital to deploy on the downside? Do we have our research and do we have our thesis as to what investments we want to buy in that move to the downside? And 3, if we travel sideways, but this is the bottom, do we have, again, capital to deploy, but not only to deploy, but to be able to sustain a DCA during that time? That's how I'm looking at it. Of course, you might have other theories, other strategies, but that's what I'm looking at right now. So the goal here, right, is at moments of extreme panic, I open a long position, I take profits when we go into green, potentially daily from these positions as the market is getting a little bit euphoric and it's a little uncomfortable. I then take those gains and I use it as DCA into the assets I believe in for the long term, for example, Bitcoin. It's a relatively simple strategy, but it's really hard to pull off because emotion comes into play. Now, that's the reason why every day I talk about emotion, I yap on about it, and it's the most important thing. But with that said, technically, right, I want to see Bitcoin hold above 70 to then retry our area of liquidity here about 75, 77, and then maybe we can head up here. But right now, what I'm seeing could be the start again of another bear flag. It's way too early to say, okay, well, this is a bear flag forming, right? We cannot say that. But what we can do is we can go, okay, well, let's see. Is Bitcoin going to get rejected from here? Is it going to come down? Is it going to bounce? We're going to see something like this. And then we can start to say, okay, well, we're in another bear flag and it's more likely that it's going to break. But if it breaks, say, that region of 78, maybe we actually break out of this bear flag. Do you know what I mean? So that's the sort of thing that I'm watching here on a technical level. And I'm trying to make the best of any situation that comes by, as you can tell. That's the most important thing. Actually, the most important thing is just being here, guys. Whether you're long or short, it's being in the market right now because most people have left. And in fact, they left during this scary time and people are starting to pay attention once again with these little bounces that we're having. We actually have seen, right, the Google search interest for Bitcoin exploding and smart money right now is buying Bitcoin here. We can see this according to Crypto Rover. So who is smart money? Well, Bitwise CIO said Bitcoin will hit 200,000 because 95% of global wealth doesn't own it yet. We also have $2.5 trillion banking giant Citibank predicts that Bitcoin could still go to 189K in 2026. We also have Michael Saylor saying orange dots matter, pointing at Bitcoin buys that he's been doing over time. We have BlackRock clients purchasing $231 million of Bitcoin in one of the biggest buys in weeks. This move also snaps a 2-day outflow streak, pointing to returning institutional interest. On top of that, we see this, which is interesting. In 2011, someone bought 10,000 Bitcoin. for $7,000. They then sold it for $1 billion at 109,000. That's 140,000x return. And this is what I was saying, guys. What we see from the recent dumping is massive whales dumping, yes, and short-term holders. The middle ground, the people, you could classify them as maybe the new rich, right? They're the ones that are still holding. Now, why might that be? Well, if you were someone who bought 10,000 Bitcoin for 7K, it's now worth $1 billion, wouldn't you want to diversify? I think I would. I think I would love to diversify, right? So diversify out of crypto into real estate, into stocks, into gold, right? And then we have the short-term holders who are panic selling. So those are the two cohorts who have been selling over this time. And then the people in the middle, right? I think it's like 10 to 100 Bitcoin or so. I can't remember the exact data, but those are the ones that are holding. This is what I'm seeing, right? This is what we're seeing in the data. But it's interesting, right? For example, I'm holding, but someone who got in at 126 is selling. So someone who bought the all-time high is selling, while someone who bought 2017 is holding. Now, that might seem obvious, but remember, I bought in 2017 at 3K. I probably bought at 2017 right at the very top. Most importantly, I bought in 18, 19, 20, 21, all through the bear market. We then had that rally. We then went into a bear market. I bought 2022, 2023, 2024. I stopped buying. I waited for the bull market to happen. We headed back down. I held, and now I'm buying more. This is how I need to accumulate and want to accumulate my Bitcoin positions. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.